If you're anything like me and hate the noise of something rolling around in the bed of your truck or the back of your van or even in the back of your SUV, well then I think I found the solution for you. Right inside this box is something that I found on Amazon after doing a bunch of searches, really to work out the back of my work truck. One of the things that I hated is my generator. I have it tied down, but it still would kind of shift around and wouldn't stay still exactly where I wanted it in the back of my work truck. And I wanted to find a solution for that. Now Volkswagens come with this, they have this mat that's kind of carpeted and they have these little Velcro type blocks that come in and lock things in place. And I was like, man, why don't they have that type of solution for the back of my truck? And that's pretty much what this is. So this is from a company called TMAT. I found them on Amazon, like I said, and this is absolutely gonna be the right solution for me. It may not be for everyone because there are some things that I could see a concern. We'll talk about that later on. But basically what it is these large pieces with a little T shape in all of them, and you get these different blocks that are able to, let's see here. This is the first time I'm pulling this thing out, guys, but you get these little blocks and you just insert it, plop it into place, and now you have a barrier so nothing can slide away from you. Now they have a bunch of different size solutions that'll work for different size truck beds and things like that, backs of SUVs, all that kind of good stuff. I ordered this, gosh, a month ago or so. I don't remember exactly which one I ordered, but for my purposes, am I gonna have to cut it? Or at least in my head, I was thinking I'm gonna cut around some of the hose reels that I have installed already anyways. So I don't know how easy that's gonna be. We're gonna test that out as well. So in this kit though, you have the full on, I guess it's 1 foot by 1 foot TMAT block. You also get some side little narrow pieces so you can actually get a nice tight fit. And then you get a variation of different blocks. Now guys, again, like I said, this is available on Amazon, so I'll link it down in the description for you guys so you can see and decide for yourself which one works best for you. But let's go ahead and just kind of give this thing a full overview and see how well it works. So here's the TMAT itself. And as you can see, there's some dovetail pieces here that will actually combine into the other one, get a nice consistent even finish. Really nice texture to the top surface of this thing, really nice. And the only thing that I would say is a negative for some people, if you have a lot of dirt or whatever in the back of your truck, then this probably isn't a good choice because all that's gonna get trapped in there. Yes, you can vacuum it out, yes, you can blow it out, all that kind of stuff, but just something to note because I could see that being a pain. Now they do have two different options, at least that I know of, for the little blocks. So this one is an adjustable one, so you can actually push it and get it to fit exactly where you need it to. It just has one attachment point. So you'd probably want to use this in addition with the other ones because this one will just sit in there and it does slide out. But again, this is for side impact and it's not going anywhere. The normal ones, the standard blocks, actually have 3 different mounting positions or points, not different positions, but you can mount this on here, right? Get it lined up, boom. And then this one actually holds on quite well because it has 3 different anchor points. Again, you can set a box in between here, whatever else, and really kind of fine tune this for your needs for storage in your vehicle. Now, right on the top here, guys, let me pull this out. It does state TMAT, the ultimate cargo management system, made in the USA. Designed in the USA, it doesn't say that, it says made in the USA, which I'm really hopeful for. I don't, I guess it's just a mold that they would need to make. Man, even inside, I don't know if you could see that, but inside it's stamped made in the USA on this piece. So incredible. I'm very, very happy to see that. You don't see that very much these days. So really cool. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep unboxing this and just kind of count out, again, I don't remember what I ordered here. So we're just gonna count out how many different pieces I have, and then we'll get a good idea of what I need for the back of my truck. Again, I'm not going the full bed length because I have a big water tank in there. I'll show you guys all that here shortly. All right, guys, so here is my full kit. I have 20 of the 1 foot by 1 foot, I believe that's what it is, but the square TMATs. I have 13 of the side pieces here, and then I have 4 of the standard blocks and 2 of the adjustable blocks. Now they also do include a rubber mallet, which is super cool. I didn't know that they would do that. Just a nice little added bonus there so you don't have to go buy one yourself if you don't have one. And then also a TMAT sticker. So let's go ahead and talk about the installation of this thing because I think it's super, super simple. Like it should just be able to line this up, hammer it down, and that should be it. Let's just go ahead and do one real quick. Yep, super simple. Build it out to what you need, and then you're good to go. Let's go ahead and look at my truck now and see what I need to figure out. All right, guys, so here is the back of my work truck, right? Obviously, I have the bins and stuff on the sides, but in the back here, I just laid down some subfloor, basically, I think it was 3/4 inch plywood sheets, covered it with this nice rubberized texture, just to keep everything looking good and having a little bit, I really thought this would have a little more grip. So here is my generator. I leave it in here all the time. The reason I am using this one, this is the Furman, this is the one that was at Costco, actually currently still at Costco and on sale, I think $5.99. The reason I like this one though is because the exhaust is here and the panel is here, so it's really easy for me to work with in that sense. I did install a little vent here so it blows out there, and I'm able to keep everything working just perfectly well. Now, as you can see, here's my water tank, and I did run PVC all the way down the side into my pressure washer here, which I'm currently using an AR630 in here, into a hose reel, and I will be doing a video on this hose reel at some point as well. It's really nice. It comes with a heavier duty hose, which, guys, I'm so used to the Uberflex hose, but this thing is nice as well. But because I'm so used to the Uberflex hose, this thing does feel heavy to me when I'm moving it around. But the fact that it's on a retractable hose reel is super nice. So I've been using that, and then you can see there's a little bit of a gap there. So my plan is to put the TMAT on top of this. One of the big concerns with this generator, if it's moving around too much, I didn't want it to bang into this PVC and then I'm gonna have a huge puddle of water back here. So that was always a concern, and I was just using a little wheel chalk to keep it in place. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and empty this stuff out. Obviously this is already mounted down, so I'm gonna try and just cut around this. I think, I don't know, maybe we'll pull it out. I decided to pull it out. All right, so now everything is out of here, right? So we're all good there. The only thing still left in here is my pressure washer currently. And I don't know, I'm awaiting 2 different new pressure washers, right? We have actually 3, because I ordered both of the big boy pressure washers, the Washer Pro and the Duo. And then I also have the Active 2.3 coming. So I may replace this, but for now we're just gonna run with it and get it out of here, or actually leave it in place. I'm just gonna lift it up and work around it as needed. But let's go ahead and start off. I wanna run the TMATs all the way to the tank because I do have enough of a gap there at the bottom underneath my valve. So I'll run them all the way there, obviously to the wheel well covers, and then that'll obviously hold it in place. Now, because I have a wood subfloor, I'm assuming and thinking that I can drill through that and then anchor it down into this as well so that the mat does not move at all. But otherwise, you would just kind of pinch it in between 2 areas so it doesn't move. Alrighty, guys, we're in nice tight quarters all together here. So, but basically, these things are super simple. The dovetail tabs are on 2 sides, and then the other side is the receiving end of those tabs. So just make sure you're placing them all in the same direction and you're good to go. Now, the way I'm doing this, I'm gonna have these tabs left at the very end. For my purposes, the way I'm doing this, I still think that's the easiest way to do it. If these start to bug me, I can trim them down. But for now, I don't have any worry with it. So because these go down onto the tabs, I have to start on this side. So you guys may not be able to see that, but I'm just gonna start hammering them in and getting this all lined up, and then we'll deal with the other ends as needed. All right, guys, hopefully you can see this. It's gonna be right here, but the install really couldn't be any easier. You literally place it over those tabs, just kind of line it up well. You can even just get it started with your hand, but then just take your rubber mallet and knock it down into place. Boom, they actually go in really tight and secure together, so it's really nice. Nice system. All right, guys, a little status update. So we've got it all laid in here, and it's actually gonna come, I think it might be perfect to those little edge attachments. It might be absolutely perfect for me, so I'm excited for that. Now, the only other thing is these sides, right? And you don't have to do that. You could just leave the mat in there. It would be front to back and tucked in between those 2 sides. You wouldn't have to worry about it. For me, again, I'm still gonna anchor this down into the plywood underneath. But I don't mind it being, I don't want it to be like super perfect cut in there. That's not the purpose of this for me. But I do want to get more coverage. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna line one of these up. You know, I'm just gonna cut it right down the middle in between. So 3 on 3, it'll go to about here. That'll be good for my purposes. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that. I'm gonna try and just cut it with a circular saw or something. I'm sure that will work. I'll update you and let you know how that goes. All right, guys, so as you can see, these are actually quite trimmable. I just use a basic circular saw with a pretty rough blade for wood, and it did a fantastic job. A little bit of, I can just clean that up a little bit, but really not bad at all. Now, the reason I did just cut it in half is because now I'll be able to use one half on that side, the other half on this side, just saving myself time. Again, it's not gonna be an absolute perfect fit, but it'll get the job done perfect. All right, guys, so all the sides are done now. Everything's cut in. Again, there's a bigger gap on this side, but again, I'm just not worried about that at all. So here are the end pieces now that would just slide right into here. And yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have pretty much absolutely perfect spacing. Now the tabs could be removed. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not yet. But one thing to note is these side pieces do not have the same texture as the large pieces. So just something to note, really, because that's a little bit of a bummer. I wish it was the same texture. But yeah, none of them have that. But they do have anchors, so you can, or just holes, so you can screw in and anchor it down into the base of something if you wanted to, which again, for me, in this case, is perfect to do that. And then I'll probably do some other spots throughout as well. But let me go ahead and test these out and see how they fit. All right, guys, so one thing I noticed, I got the first one installed, and I noticed a couple of things when I was doing it. Now, on these ones, again, on the full sides, there's the dovetail pins on one side and then the inserts on the other side. With these, it's just front and back. On the sides, there's nothing, so you don't have to worry about that. The other thing I noticed is they're not a perfect fit like these are. Again, the texture is different, and again, it's not a perfect fit. So let me go ahead and just show you. I'm just gonna set these up on top. Those are lined up pretty much perfectly. And you come over here, and look, we're just a little bit off. It's just a little bit different. And it made it really hard to knock this one in. It's almost bowing up right here a little bit also. Let me just hammer it down some more. And it should stay, especially once I anchor it down. It should be no problem. But I wanted to point that out to you guys. Now, if it was me personally reordering this kit and I knew about that, I would just order a couple extra of the big pieces and then trim them down. Because now I know that they are so easy to trim, I would just do that. That way you have consistent texture all the way through. You wouldn't have to worry about the tabs, etc., etc. That's personally what I would do, but I'm gonna go ahead and keep using these for now because I'm running a full test on this. I wanna make sure this isn't gonna try and pop up over time and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm just gonna install. I'm not gonna go all the way to the ends. I'll just go 1, 2, and 3 more, and then we'll be good to go. All right, guys, so yeah, if I could provide any feedback to the company, it's that these side pieces really aren't any good. As you can see, because they're not spaced correctly, now it's putting too much pressure here, and this whole thing is bowing up. So I'm gonna take these off. I would recommend not getting these side pieces. All right, guys, so the whole floor is done. The only thing I have here is a little bit of a gap, and I would trim down 4 of the big ones. I only have 2 extras, so it would be short anyway, so I'm just gonna let it be like this for now. I don't have any issue with that. I can always add them later, not a big deal, so I may just do that. That's another thing cool about this company is I believe you can order individual pieces, I believe. You can definitely order individual of the anchors that you put in here, so not a big deal, but those side pieces, definitely a bit of a letdown. All right, guys, we've got the generator in. Here are the anchors. Now, for this purpose, this thing's a big piece. I don't think this is gonna work, so I'm gonna have to stick with these ones, but I can definitely just use it as a corner, which would be cool. The only other thing that I can mention about these things would be really, really nice if the company could figure out a way to be able to have this kind of a point and then have it anchored down into some sort of a tie down, maybe an expandable piece for this so it gets really tight in here, and then you could put a tie down in. I don't know. I'm not, I'm an idea guy. I don't know how to execute it, but that would be really, really cool. Again, let's just go ahead and see if I can get this thing anchored in and go from there. Now also, guys, because I have this rubberized texture on the bottom, plus all the weight of this thing all the way down on it, I actually don't think I need to anchor this down. I'm still going to anchor a couple points because the hose reels are gonna go on top of it, so they will get anchored down there, but again, I don't think it's really necessary. It seems to be really, really strong in there. So I'm gonna go ahead and install that. I'm gonna put a air compressor back here. I will use that another anchor with that just to keep that in place. Go from there. Now, guys, you may be wondering what air compressor am I going to be using in my truck here. I did a video testing out a whole bunch of different ones, and there's some absolutely fantastic choices. Better choices than this one, I think. Just they get equal amount of performance, but at a much quieter pace. But because I'm limited on space, I am going with the Rigid, the little guy. It's pretty loud for sure, but I think for this purpose, it's gonna fit in here the best. All right, guys, so I'm starting to lose a little bit of light here, so I want to show you where I'm at currently. And it's not completely done. Things aren't completely tightened down, but here is essentially the layout. Generator, air compressor right behind it, all anchored in. The anchors are behind the air compressor as well, so that can't move. This still needs to be bolted down, but that'll be my air hose reel. My water hose reel is here with my pressure washer tucked away right there. I'll leave all my hoses and things over there, but as you can see with the vacuum, I just used 2 of those little anchors. So I have one here in a corner position and one here in a corner position. And look, it is solid. I'll just be able to lift it up. Perfect. Set it back down in that position. Boom. It's locked in nice and safe. Make sure that's all good. Yeah, locked in nice and safe. It's pretty awesome. So my initial thoughts on this thing is that it is super cool. It's going to function for me, I'm hoping, perfectly. All this stuff seems to be anchored in really, really nicely. We're going to see, right? Once I get some miles on this thing, I'll really have a better idea. But if it's for just basic stuff for the bed of your truck, I mean, you use those little anchor pieces and set up a box. You put your stuff in your box. You're never going to have an issue with it. It's awesome. Now, I don't know what these things are rated for weight-wise. Obviously, this generator is super heavy. So, you know, you just have to take it with, you know, for what it is. But overall, I'm very, very happy. I think it looks fantastic. And so far, I highly recommend it, guys. Now, the edge pieces, like I said, no good. Don't get those. I wouldn't even bother with them. At least on my kit, right? They didn't line up. But maybe on your kit it will. So that's it for the TMAT. All right, guys, so that is the TMAT. That's that thing that I found on Amazon. Again, I'll link this all down in the description, but you can get kits starting from like $200 to about $350, depending on, you know, the quantity that's used. You can also go on their website directly. I'll link that down in the description as well. And that's where I think you can kind of order more piece by piece as needed versus Amazon has the whole kits. But again, I think it's a super cool little system. Not perfect for everybody. Like I said, if you have a bunch of if you're constantly moving dirt and things like that, it's gonna get in here, it's gonna be a pain in the butt, not ideal. But for my situation, I think it's perfect. And I think for most, right? In the back of your SUV, you go to the grocery store, you have stuff rolling around, you stick these in there, you have a basket, stuff goes in there, and it's good to go. Once again though, not a fan of the actual edges, the little small trim pieces. I just like the big 1 foot by 1 foot pieces. I like the texture on them. Really, really good. I will be kind of monitoring the system that's in my truck now over time to really see how well it holds up, and I'll keep you guys posted on that as well. But so far, I'm really, really liking this little system. So one quick thing to note is the anchoring systems, right? Because these are spaced out, right? You can only get so close with that one kind of fixed location one. So sometimes you need a little bit more gap. So those adjustable ones are great because you can push it in there and get a nice tight fit. So, but awesome little thing. I think it's cool that they give you all the options of the different type of mounting systems. So that's it. Again, if anybody from TMAT is watching this, if you guys can figure out a way to create something where you can tighten it down within this and then have a tie down, even if it's not supported for a ton of weight, I think that would be really, really cool. That's it for today's video, guys. I hope that video helps you. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and we will see you on the next one.